The Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Tyreek Hill traded to the Miami Dolphins has just happened. People ask for emergency show. So if you're wondering why Geoff and I look so odd on camera, is because we are in non-familiar locations. So we decided to use a Zoom background in order to put us both on the screen at the same time. Geoff, you told me that you weren't allowed to have an opinion on this.
Well, according to some people, because two teams that I'm documented to not like make a trade, therefore my opinion doesn't count, especially when I say I didn't like the trade for either team. But we'll get into it. That's my initial feelings of it. It'll grow on me, I'm certain, for one side. But yeah, the Dolphins, I have a bit of a history there. The Chiefs, consider them my current life nemesis. And that's where we are.
Well, there were two. I mean, this kind of boiled up out of nowhere, Hill going to the Dolphins. And I guess it came down to one of two teams. It was between the Dolphins and Jets, which means we need to bring on expert Jets correspondent and Dolphins Reddit correspondent, Tim AnderCUST.
Tim AnderCUST.
That's not my name. First, let me say I thought we were supposed to talk about the signing of Gerald Everett. So I had all these notes here about Gerald Everett, and this is useless. Okay. Secondly, Geoff also omitted the fact that his second favorite team was the team that didn't get Tyreek Hill. So yet another reason for why he would have sour grapes about the whole deal. I can say for myself, I am delighted that this didn't go for the Jets. Just thrilled. I'm feeling good. This is the first time all free agency I felt good about, and the Jets did. And we didn't even do it. We're just somebody else was stupider than we were and offered more money than we were, I guess.
I don't know if you're being serious or just playing the reverse game.
No, I am serious.
Literally before anything could, like, as soon as it marinated, you seemed anti the idea of this trade. And normally anytime the Jets come into our orbit or a big rumor, you're just very pro it instantly. And you were like anti it, I got the sense right away. So I couldn't tell that you're put on as the rumors continued to build were real or fake, reverse curse, all that. So I still can't tell where you stand, Tim. I'm honest.
Where I'm standing is where I had been since I heard the news ruminating this morning, which is that if we're going to spend a ton of draft capital and invest a ton of money into a player, it's not going to be the sixth best wide receiver in football or something, who, as you said, is just as much a product of his surroundings as he is talent, and also, is a terrible person. And I don't want that to be like a marquee person around my franchise. So you know what? Good luck to the Dolphins. If only they knew how to not blow quarterback draft picks, they'd be the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. But they don't. And so they are, they've got a real chance to make the playoffs. They got Teddy B some weapons, but that doesn't mean that in some ways good. They don't need the draft picks. They don't know how to use them anyway.
The Chiefs up great for Tua. They got the tackle. I mean, they've done so many things this offseason. I love I love every move they made this offseason up until this trade. But now that they've made the trade, like I'm confident this coach will make it work. I do, though, believe, like, you have to question a player whose entire career. I feel more confident that Devontae Adams' skills will translate to a new team despite playing with Rodgers than I do with Tyreek Hill, who I understand is a great line of scrimmage receiver, but a big part of what he does best, I don't know that the Dolphins can utilize. And I'm not against the big swing with the draft picks. I, like you, Tim, feel like, I don't know if this was the player. And last time we spoke, I said any team who's got a receiver to trade, they're going to get so much for him. Because we saw that the deals early in free agency with the Williams extension and the ones out of Jacksonville. And anyone with the prospect of trading a receiver who's going to hit a king's ransom. I do feel I'll like the trade a lot more for Kansas City on draft night, where they're like, oh, okay, yeah, makes perfect sense now. And they sort of replenish draft cupboard. They are no fools over there. And the team that sort of copycatted the Raiders, you don't want to copycat the Raiders.
Not for a worse player. who Hill is compared to
Devontae. I mean, it's tough. I mean, didn't we have this conversation last year when we talked about the best receivers in football? Maybe it was me and Diggs, and you said that Hill was so much better than Diggs. Like, where would you rate Diggs versus Hill right now then?
I guess I actually would put Hill slightly ahead of Diggs. I'm not as infatuated with Stephon Diggs as
it's more so the draft picks and the top of market premium position.
Well, there's that too, right?
Salary, I guess, in some respects. Like if I'm the Dolphins, this draft is supposed to be stacked. I'm not a film guy, but where they are in their program, like wouldn't it have just made perfect sense to move up a little bit and get the receiver they covet in the draft instead of doing all this?
They did that last year. So they traded up. They got Waddle. They got the guy that they wanted. And now you add Tyreek Hill with him. I'm just very curious of what's going to happen, how they're going to utilize Hill in this offense. Like we're coming from an offensive coordinator who just made Deebo Samuel into a half running back. Maybe you see some more experimental plays with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, for that matter, like out of the backfield, running sweeps, or at least letting that set up for deep down the field. Did you know, Tim, that although the sample size is very tiny, that Tua was number 1 in the league last season in deep ball completion percentage?
What?
Yeah.
I don't believe that stat, but if it's true, it's only because the corners were laughing so loud at the duck coming in their direction that their sides were splitting and the ball.
Is this like a guy that's leading the league in batting average, but he's like barely qualified for being able it was for batting average?
Tua was 14 of 29 on passes more than 20 yards down the field.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a chance Mahomes had that many in one game last year.
If I'm a Dolphin fan, I am super psyched. Elite playmaker, just got our tackle. I really do like this coach. I liked all the offseason move they made. Everyone they acquired seems like is capable of taking a handoff. They seem like they could be a very tricky team to game plan for. If the defense can return to year and a half ago levels, they can do a lot of things the 49ers did. And me and you, Pat, made Super Bowl props on that team.
They're worse still, even with this trade. They're still worse than all 4 teams in the AFC West, except maybe the Chargers. They're worse than the Colts. They're worse than the Texans. They're worse than the Bills. Where are they going? They're worse than the Ravens. They're worse than probably the Browns. They're worse than the Bengals. Like the Dolphins,
they have the volatility of being really good potentially.
Yeah, don't invest
there's volatility in how good they could be. Like they could really spike. It could all hit to a year, like a rookie quarterback in year 3. Like everything could click. I don't like the trade, but I'm just processing what's there. And I wouldn't be shocked to see it work. And again, they could do what the 49ers did. And that's a team I certainly wouldn't want my favorite team having to play. I mean, like I said, I bet the 49ers win the Super Bowl. If you're going to mimic them, I can't insult that.
There's just too many good horses in front of them. I'm sorry.
It was a lot to give up. They gave up the 29th pick, the 50th pick, and a 4th round pick, as well as a 4th and a 6th the next year. Doesn't seem all that bad, to tell you the truth.
It seems like a lot, and all the money that you have to invest in them as well.
It's a lot.
The money you have to invest, sure, but don't you talk about how the Jets are the king of the salary cap every single? They have so much cap space.
No,
I mean, eventually you have to use this cap space on someone.
Quarterback. There's so much extra money there, like with the Chargers, like with the Jaguars. There's room to almost make a mistake with money right now and make a move. So I can't totally diss it. Like there's so much money in the league, as long as didn't like totally screw yourself like a small handful of teams have done.
And this is what, year 3 for Tua. So the way that this deal would line up, it's 4 years, 120 million, 72 million guaranteed. So essentially it's probably just a 3-year deal, which would perfectly coincide with the end of Tua, if that's what you wanted with him, if they pick up the 5th-year option. If not, they move on to someone else who's obviously still going to be cheap. So you can afford this for the moment. What is Hill without Mahomes? I think is a really fun question to try to consider, because Paul and I were talking about it in the office the moment it happened, and there was a lot of discourse like, oh, well, the Chiefs will just replace Tyreek Hill with some other fast guy. But I feel like Hill's speed is the one, it's so far beyond everyone else in the NFL in terms of how fast his actual game speed is versus the other guys who are just super burners. Like in real time, his speed seems to be so much more damaging. Maybe that he loses that. What is he, 28 years old? He is 28 years old right now. So he's 31 by the end of it. Like maybe he loses a step. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But this offense just seems like it has so much potential now with Waddle and Hill both running like weird mirror routes on both sides of the field. It's just a lot for the D. And you kind of hit on it, Geoff, that these are going to be really tricky teams to game plan for. And in a stacked AFC, having that element of unpredictability versus some of the other teams could be a real advantage. Like that could be your wedge into making the playoffs is one thing. They're probably the second best team in this division now with all the moves that they've made and still probably really trailing the Bills and really trailing those upper echelon teams. But we just watched the Bengals go through the playoffs and the Bengals weren't even all that good.
But the Bengals have probably after Mahomes and Jackson, the best quarterback in the AFC. The Dolphins don't have that. They are capped by the fact that their quarterback is, and there is simply nobody on the face of the earth.
But they'll scheme around it. Like that's what we're acknowledging. That's
Sooner
what Pat
or later you can't. Sooner or later that doesn't work.
I don't know if you get Debo the way he did it in San Francisco makes me think, okay, the Super Bowl, like winning the Super Bowl, beating 3 teams with elite AFC quarterbacks 3 weeks in a row seems impossible, but being a very good team seems very possible. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of where my head is at.
I think the patience for bad quarterbacks will be very, very
I also think,
yeah, but you hold on. Throughout the playoffs, you made the case. I mean, I was trying to make the Trey Lance upside case versus Jimmy G because I didn't think that Jimmy G was good enough to get across the finish line. He almost got them there. He almost got them there before. Like, is Jimmy G some sort of like revelation over Tua? Probably not.
No, but there's very little upside with Tua either.
That's what I'm saying though. But if you made the case for Jimmy G and they were fine with Jimmy G, they could win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Why can't Miami do the same thing with Tua?
At least Jimmy G had shown and continues to show some ability to be successful. I just haven't seen it from.
I mean, this is a Tua for all of his shortcomings has won 70% of the games he started.
Yeah, okay. He's the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying.
You don't bring in someone like Teddy Bridgewater if you don't have a very quick hook.
That's a separate conversation that we can get to. But you can't, because it's a whole dynamic. We've seen when Teddy shows up, it's like neon lights have told us who've watched the NFL in the last few years, like that there's hidden meaning or very real meaning behind Teddy Bridgewater's appearance. But I am just more curious of the fact that 2 receivers who play with pretty much the player we consider the best player on the planet and the MVP of the league got traded for King's ransoms and got extensions. Not saying they're not great players. Like the skill of Tyreek Hill is unmatched by anybody, as Pat was saying. Like the combination of skill and how he can break down a DB. But something has to give in going from those quarterbacks. Like it has to.
Receivers are more of a product of their system than quarterbacks ever could be. So yeah, it's the case that you should expect a drop off in production from both Adams and from Hill. But it's also marvelous news for someone like Juju Smith-Schuster, who I think when he's healthy is just a fantastic receiver.
He's fine. He's a fine receiver. Like he's
quite good.
Juju failed as a number 1 in Pittsburgh. He's had success as a number 2 in Pittsburgh most of the time that he's been on the field, but he failed miserably as a number 1.
And he'll be a number 2 in Kansas City.
To who?
Clearly the number 1.
Who is?
Kelsey is clearly your number 1. And so Juju becomes the number 2 guy. And I think that's a marvelous setup for him.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way, though, because both those guys are going to be playing on the interior, presumably, that unless they bump Kelsey out wide, I think it's a different scenario.
Andy Reid's a genius. He will figure out what to do with these guys. He knows what he's doing.
I mean, just having Mahomes helps. That's really...
That helps a lot, too. I feel like, obviously, like Geoff, I don't like either side of the trade, really, but I like it more for Kansas City than I do for the Dolphins.
If you like it more for Kansas City, they should have taken the Jets offer, which was 35, 38, and 69.
Kansas City getting worse at this moment in time, like if I'm a Chiefs fan, just feels absolutely unacceptable. But obviously that building and something happened and he didn't want to play ball with them. And it's a deep receiver draft, which I'm sure they'll take advantage of. And that's why I don't want to kill them, because I feel like that second round's going to end and be like, I like that Chiefs receiving core come next year. Like, shit.
And as the runners up on this deal, I think it now cements that with 4 and 10, one of those two picks is going to be a wide receiver for the Jets.
Well, I mean, they already had a top 5 unit in the league, according to you. Why do they need more receivers?
No, look, I'm very down on this offseason, down on a lot of things. We could use another wide receiver because the one we took 2 years ago completely flamed out. Elijah Moore has all the skill to be a number 1 top 10 receiver in football, but he's not there yet. Corey Davis, if he can stay healthy with Elijah Moore, is a good start, but we need another wide receiver, and we have the most draft capital of anybody in this draft. So I'd like to see us use that to get a receiver.
I don't know about this offseason because I'm not calling an end because it's been crazy and things are happening. And there have even been some Peter Schrager started a Keenan Allen rumor, which sent Chargers Twitter into a fizzy.
So Mike Williams.
No, but now hearing stop. Let me just talk. Now hearing this Tyreek Hill thing coming out of nowhere today, it's like anything I've heard about a receiver maybe feels credible, I guess, to that regard. Tim, this has to be exciting to know, because we're like, maybe not this season, but come in the season or next off season, like the big name that wants to move, like the Jets are going to be in on, and you just got to decide if you want to burn those bullets to a much cheaper extent. I remember with the Julio stuff last year, and it was the second, I was like, the Chargers got the cap room, the Chargers got the draft pick. Is this the bullet they want to like throw? Because I know there's 1 or 2 in the system. I'm like, I don't think this is the bullet to throw. I'm happy they didn't throw it. If I was a Jets fan, be happy they didn't throw these bullets today. I would be.
I just don't see what this does for the Jets. Honestly, like the Jets' best move is just keep building through the draft, build up your line, hope to God that Zoomer Zach is actually like okay and not the absolute nut. Is he the worst quarterback in the AFC right now? Not saying that he will be, Tim. I don't want to throw too many stones, but to go through the teams, like, is it Trubisky and Zoomer Zach and Tua, I guess?
Trubisky would probably be the worst, eh? That or Davis Mills, I guess, depending how you feel.
That guy's got a real long neck. Watch out for him. Good sneaks. He's going to go over the top.
So did Mike Glennon. Yeah, I mean, certainly those there, and of course Trevor Lawrence is right there with them too. I mean, I'm glad the Jets did make this deal. I far would have rather had Robert Woods for a half a peanut butter and jam sandwich, is what it cost the Titans compared to what Tyreek Hill is. And Woods is like 85% of the skill of Tyreek Hill.
No, let's not get crazy here.
Woods is a fantastic player. They got him for nothing.
Woods is a completely different player. I think that, listen, I would rather have Tyreek Hill 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 over Robert Woods. But I think that the best landing spot for Robert Woods was Tennessee, because as I've continued to say on the show time after time, that Robert Woods is still one of the premier run blockers at the wide receiver position of anyone on earth. And when you're a team that just wants to run the ball as much as Tennessee, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, no, it's a great spot for him. I would have liked to have had him, but Tennessee is a great spot for him.
I think the Jets and Dolphins, up into the rumor, I love their off seasons, and I still like both of them. I loved everyone the Dolphins got. I love the coach. I'm a fan of like that part of it. And the Jets, I think, have done a great job. Like, long dead are the days of Mobley and Le'Veon Bell. Like, they've made a handful of really good depth signings that I think are going to set them up to be in a really nice spot with all the draft picks that they've gotten. Despite Tim wanting to throw all his stones at me, I think the Jets have done a nice little low pro job.
That's sweet of you to say. I'm still very disappointed they haven't done enough to give further ammunition for Wilson.
Yeah, but if they're going to suck this year anyway, then suck.
Like, give him people to develop with. Give him some.
You just said they're drafting someone at 10.
So I'm willing to put a big fat I for incomplete on the report card till the draft is over. But if we haven't capitalized on some top tier, whether it be receiver or tight end talent in the draft, I'm going to lose.
You got 4 picks in the top 50. You can't grade. You can't even comment on giving.
I can comment. Unlike you, I'm allowed to comment.
No, sorry. I mean, like the concept of grading the offseason while you're sitting on 4 picks in the top 52 in the top 10.
It's an incomplete.
Like, nothing to. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Dolphins Reddit like right now?
Well, I sent you some photos earlier today, so you're very aware. There are proclamations of the Super Bowl. This is so amazing. There's several in there just saying, ha, 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 screw the Jets. Like, they can believe the Jets, who have nothing, didn't get to succeed while they did. Like, it's a nasty place. I sort of went undercover to check out
what was like a happy place.
It is both a happy place, but it's just like they're all running around metaphorically shooting off bottles of champagne and celebrating. That's what's going on here.
I mean, Super Bowl. I mean, think about how excited you get when the Jets win one game. That all of a sudden they're going to the Super Bowl. We've heard it every season for the past 7 years on this show.
That's not me anymore.
What's that?
That's not me anymore.
You're completely new now, are you?
I am a new man. I've been very stoic throughout this whole off season. Had they gotten Tyreek Hill,
haven't done anything. What's there to be excited about?
Had they got Hill, you would have literally just lied to us, be like, I didn't want to get excited. I was playing it coy. I didn't want to allow myself to get excited.
No, I would have been quite agitated and come on here and said I thought we gave way too much for a receiver who's just not worth it. Who's good, but he's just not worth the price.
I mean, maybe they're like the Mahomes, maybe it's just that transcendent. Like, it will not matter who the quarterback is.
Yeah, maybe Mahomes was only good because of Tyreek Hill. Have you ever thought about that?
No, I mean, I certainly had lines written about going from Mahomes 1.0 to Mahomes 2.0 in this trade if he'd gone to the Jets. Like, I had all that stuff for But no, look, I hate the Dolphins. I wish them nothing but the worst. And, enjoy having spent Mike Williams level money on a receiver who, while very good, just isn't good enough to demand what I think is like quarterback level trade of picks and money. So enjoy.
Let's see. Oh, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is now visiting the Chiefs as well. So there you go.
Well,
there's your Hill replacement. There's your speedster.
Talk about Has anyone had a worse offseason than the Green Bay Packers? Has anyone turned themselves from Super Bowl contender to, are they even going to win half their games this year?
No, see, I completely disagree. They had a good offseason because they kept the one player who matters to them.
They got nothing. They
have something. They have the 2-time reigning MVP. Losing him would mean you were not going to be good.
39 years old and doesn't have any receivers. Okay, we'll see how they do. A team like Minnesota is going to destroy them this year.
What about the Lions with who's the guy who's the quarterback from Liberty that's getting all the
Malik
buzz
Willis.
Malik Willis.
That guy looks awesome.
Yeah, he looked amazing in his workout clothes.
I'm pulling a Tim scouting report where I've seen like 3 throws and they're all amazing. Like, this guy looks awesome.
He does. He does.
With scouting that way. He does look very good. The Lions have the second pick. I don't think they're going to use it on him, but
I think they will.
I mean, I don't think they will, but I kind of hope they do, because that means another top tier pass rusher doesn't go to them and is possible as an availability for us at 4.
I need to mention a couple things.
Okay, we have 3 minutes left on this record. So
I'll go 1 minute. Last time we spoke, Tim was like very making fun of me about that I bet Charger futures. They've plummeted. So you can laugh that I did it, but the odds have plummeted because now they're in the mid-teens, whether you think they deserve it or not. Also, last time you threw like 9 stones at me, like right away, unsolicited. And that was followed by the most aggressive week of Chargers free agency in my life. They didn't spend money like that since I signed David Boston. Okay. We don't do that ever. We haven't traded a draft pick in 7 years. And it was for Cordali, the Ohio State quarterback, for a 7th rounder to Buffalo. We're ready. We're coming. We're gas.
So you're all gas, no brakes this year? Or the Jets all brakes, no gas?
It's all car, no wheels. Our car is literally up on cinder blocks in the driveway.
That's okay. But Becky will still be able to push it up the hill.
Look, he has not been performing, but that he did push a car up a hill in reverse with the parking brake on. Like, you realize that if you had the parking brake on, the lights in the back wouldn't light up, right? That's not how parking brakes work. Someone had their foot on the brake as well as the car was in reverse.
Why would you have a foot on the brake with the car in reverse and the parking brake on all at the same time?
That much harder for him.
That must have been what's going on.
It's called resistance training, Patrick.
We'll get more into this next week. We'll get back in studio and hash all of this out. But I want to get a quick reaction to this trade. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Because we literally have almost no time left here on our real like homeless person record that we're trying to do right now. Thumbs up on Matt Ryan to the Colts or thumbs down? I'm 2 thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs slightly up, but mostly down.
Yeah, what's different than having Matt Ryan than having Carson Wentz than having Phillip Rivers? I feel like they've tried this before.
Yeah, it's basically this is the best of the 3 versions, and so I guess they have a chance to make the playoffs with Ryan. But it's
I would say Rivers was their best version.
Debatable. It's debatable, but it's all around the same. They're a playoff-ish team in a
Jamison Crowder to the Bills.
I miss him already.
That's going to be a great 3 games for the Bills.
I miss him already. He's going to be a great addition. Buffalo is going so far this year.
Did they give him a hamstring replacement surgery?
If he's healthy, like Buffalo's got
never healthy.
Buffalo's had the best offseason. They sit there in a division that wasn't competitive, hasn't been competitive in the offseason market till last night with the Dolphins.
I may have to pick them to win the Super Bowl. We may be at that point now.
Jesus Christ. No, sorry, Bills fans. Paul's not even here to like have a meltdown in real time by hearing this. Anyway, we need to get out of here. That was the instant reaction to Tyreek Hill. You guys good with recapping all the stuff that we haven't recapped yet sometime next week?
Yes.
Love it.
All right. Since I don't even have time for the extra. For Geoff, for Tim, I'm Pat. Smash the like. We'll see you next time.
Mayo experience! Experience!